Good afternoon. Great to have you along for 13 News at 4 on this Tuesday. I'm Dustin Grove.
And I'm Felicia Lawrence, and we begin with a look at what you think about Governor Mike Braun, President Trump, and the controversy over congressional redistricting.
Those were some of the topics from a brand new public opinion poll released today. I want to get right to Matthew Foltz, who's been looking at the numbers and also hearing from the group behind him. Matthew?
Well, yeah, Dustin and Felicia, this statewide survey was done by North Star Opinion Research, and it was released by Independent Indiana. And these results show that many voters are not happy with the state's political leaders and where things are headed here in the Hoosier State. So the poll surveyed over 600 voters earlier this month. Around 53% of Indiana voters believe the state is going in the wrong direction. About 49% don't favor President Trump, while 43% say they don't favor Governor Braun. Now, another big topic on this survey was thoughts about redistricting. You know, we've been covering this for a while now as lawmakers weigh on whether this is something that should happen here in the Hoosier State. So the results from the poll show that 53% of voters are against redistricting. 85% are Democrats and about 25% were Republicans. So we actually sat down with leaders of the Independent Indiana about the results. Take a listen.
Right now, just politics seems like it's not working. Our government and our state government doesn't really seem like they have the ability to solve problems. And when they do try to do something like the property tax reform, oftentimes it feels like they're breaking more than they're fixing.
Now, another interesting thing to note from this survey was that nearly half of the voters who participated don't think the state's two-party system does a good job at representing everyone's views on this. Now, of course, 13 News has reached out to Governor Braun's office for a comment about these results. We're still waiting to hear back this afternoon. But, you know, leaders with Indiana Independent, Dustin and Felicia, they were even shocked by these results.
And it's not just a situation where we were talking earlier, where it's, well, the voters are upset with Republicans, so they're going to go over to the Democrats. They're upset with the Democrats, too.
Yeah.
They're just upset with politics as it stands in general right now.
Yeah, which would align with what we're seeing with national polling. But it's interesting to see Indiana-specific numbers as this does break down to an Indiana-specific issue. Yeah. Matthew Foltz reporting. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Matthew.
Okay, let us turn from politics to weather. I was going to say something that makes a little more sense.
It's still heated.
Sometimes it doesn't make more sense, and both still heated.
It's still heated. Today, it's definitely a warm day out there. 79, we actually made it a little warmer than what we were expecting. We had 78 in the forecast. Officially at the airport, we're at 79. Not everyone is there, but yeah, it is a warm day. This is well above the average for this time of year by more than 10 degrees. We should be right around 67 or so for our daytime high temperature. We're nowhere near that. It is not a record, but temperatures are certainly on the warmer side. We do expect that a front will try to roll through here when we look to our forecast tomorrow and will help to cool us down. Back to the west, there are some showers. There's not a lot of moisture with this, but this is where that cooler air is located. You can see some of it trying to push eastward. Des Moines at 57. That will try to arrive tomorrow. It's not going to be a dramatic cool down because, as I've been advertising, this is going to pretty much wash out as it gets a little bit closer, meaning it won't have quite the cooler air once it gets here. So 56 for tonight as the clouds are really on the increase. And then tomorrow, we have made a minor adjustment to the forecast in that we added this little chance of sprinkles. I've been talking about this the last couple of days where we could see a couple of sprinkles squeezed out of this. There's not going to be much with it. Temperatures will be in the low 70s for tomorrow. So still above the average, but certainly nowhere near where we should be for this time of year. Let's talk traffic briefly just to show you what to expect here with 465 on the north side, seeing some typical slowdowns in the area between the 465 and 865 interchange all the way over to Meridian. We typically see that, and also starting to see the slowdowns on 65 southbound towards the south split. Let's hit a couple of traffic cameras just to show you. This is 65 and 70, 65 southbound, 70 westbound through the splits here. Typical slow traffic. There's a little bit of a smudge there on the camera. Also looking at that same area that I said there was a bit of a slowdown. This is 465 making the bend. That's the traffic coming towards you, making the bend through the north side right at the 865 split. Traffic is moving, but volume is going to be picking up as we get closer to the afternoon commute.
Thanks so much, Rob. On to more news now. Metro Police just arrested a man for a shooting that seriously hurt two women and himself inside of a CVS.
You may remember this shooting from last week. The 46-year-old suspect now faces multiple charges, including aggravated battery and unlawful possession of a firearm by a serious violent felon. That shooting happened just after 6 last Tuesday on East 10th Street. Officers say they got reports of a man threatening employees before shots were fired.
And another man at the scene told police he also fired shots and gave them his gun. He was detained for questioning and was released. Police say the suspect took himself to the hospital with a gunshot wound. They later determined that he was the suspect.
Our Ella Rhodes has been digging into this investigation. She spoke with police today and one of the victims from that shooting. You'll hear from them coming up at 5 o'clock. Also this afternoon, we are learning the name of a young man killed in a shooting on the southwest side.
The Marion County Coroner's Office is identifying that man as 22-year-old Tervon Omar Lee Townsend. Townsend was shot just before 7 Saturday night on Kentucky Avenue near I-465.
Officers were actually in the area and heard the gunshots. They say they drove by and saw Townsend in a parking lot. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition and later died.
Police say they detained multiple people, but they were released pending further investigation. And we're learning more about a woman struck and killed by a school bus near West Lafayette this week. State police say 82-year-old Karen Cameron was walking across State Road 43 from a gas station when she was hit by the bus. No students were on the bus at the time and nobody else was hurt. An autopsy is scheduled for Thursday. Johnson County Coroner Michael Pruitt is now behind bars at the Brown County Jail, and he's being held without bond. The Johnson County Sheriff's Office confirmed Pruitt turned himself in today on a warrant for 14 charges. Court documents say Pruitt texted a 17-year-old about alcohol multiple times while mentoring her in 4-H. He's charged with 7 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor and 7 counts of furnishing alcohol to a minor. A detective says he found photos of Pruitt and the teen drinking together. The arrest warrant with no bond was issued Monday, although according to court records, Pruitt has asked for bond to be set in the case. Online court records say a special judge from Hancock County is now assigned to handle it. The Johnson County Sheriff's Office tells us Pruitt was transferred to the Brown County Jail for safety and security reasons. This afternoon, a Whiteland teen charged with the rape of a 79-year-old woman is now in an adult detention center. Police say Ariane Smith attacked the woman as she was bringing in her groceries. Officers arrested the 16-year-old last week. A judge moved Smith from a juvenile facility to adult jail. He's now being held with what's called higher than standard bond at $250,000 cash only. Off the job and onto the picket line. That's what casino workers at Horseshoe in Shelbyville are expected to do today in response to the government shutdown. Hundreds of table games and dual rate dealers were set to vote on forming their union this week, but the government shutdown forced the National Labor Relations Board to postpone the vote indefinitely. So now workers have authorized a strike starting today, calling for union recognition. And if you play the Powerball in April, listen up because you have 10 days remaining to claim your prize. Yeah, time's running out. That $50,000 Powerball double play ticket is expiring. Authorities say the ticket was purchased in April at Casey's on West Adams Street in Decatur. The ticket has to be claimed no later than 4:30 p.m. at the Hoosier Lottery Prize Payment Office. That's on North Meridian Street, just north of downtown Indy. So take a good look at your tickets. Here are the winning numbers again. It's a Powerball of 5. Check those tickets, and if you do have these numbers, call us. Wish I was in Decatur. I know, I haven't been there. If you noticed a new trash can outside your house, it is all part of Indianapolis's new trash service, which starts in January, coming up a couple of months away. I noticed it. I said, what is this? And then what am I supposed to do with it? And then what do I do with the other one? All right, there are a few things that you need to do to prepare for it, okay? So they are currently in the process of delivering 150,000 carts across Marion County. So the gray carts you see here, you can start using them right away. But, and here's the answer to your question, Felicia. I'm listening. Make sure you leave your empty old cart out so that it can be taken away on your next collection day. There are some rules, though. Everything has to be bagged up. It has to be inside the garbage can. It can't overflow, and no yard waste.
Top of the bin says things that you should not be putting in, including paint, chemicals, hazardous waste. We have Tox Drop available several weekends each month, as well as other options for disposing materials that should not go in your regular solid waste cart.
Now we checked, this is all part of a solid waste contract the city has where they will be introducing universal recycling in 2028.